Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. A very good day to you. I'm Khawa Solomon. A warm welcome. This is Parenting Today, another edition where we, inshallah, have the intention to help you as parents, mom, dad, granny, grandpa, extended family members, members of the community, assist in every way to develop this child that is born with the innocence, the fitrah, the pure inclination of doing good and believing in Allah. So we have this little body, this little person that is a responsibility on us and the community, and only we can hone on to those skills that is appropriate for that child with their temperament in mind. But today we will be profiling a maternity home based out in Johannesburg, who complements natural birth, and we'll be chatting to the midwife, registered midwife there. But before we do that, let's take a listen to Parenting Tip by Shanaz Moors. Happy Confident Me.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm Shanaz Moors from Happy Confident Me with your 3 parenting tips. Today's video is going to help you, with all the anxieties that I had, that I wish the things that I'd been told when I was pregnant with my first child. Number 1, you know what? You're not superwoman. Take it easy. You cannot do everything you used to do. Number 2, the thing with being pregnant is that each pregnancy is different. Every person will have a different experience. So when we compare ourselves to others or other women's pregnancies, we may find ourselves being in a panic state or find ourselves feeling less than. So definitely no comparison when you're pregnant. Number 3, do you know that everyone's going to give you advice as to what kind of birth you should have, where you should have the baby, all of that. And unfortunately, that's just the beginning. The advice just multiplies when you actually have the baby, and the advice continues. And you know what? You want to please everybody. Your mother's giving you advice, your mother-in-law, your sister-in-law, your aunts, all these women. And the thing with that is we have so much wisdom between us, right, as women. But often when we try to guide each other, it doesn't always come out as support. It often feels like judgment and criticism. So just bear that in mind, that when you want to receive input from others, it may not always make you feel good about your own choices. So be wary of what you allow in and what you take personal. The next tip is, when you start on your journey of motherhood, often what happens is we have an expectation of what it would be like, and then we have the reality of what it is actually like. And for myself as a recovered perfectionist, there was really, the two never met at all. Being a new parent and a new mom is just chaos. And in chaos, there is no perfection. If I had someone tell me that just be in the moment, be in the messy house, be in the stack of baby clothes that needs to be washed, just be in every moment, be present, take it all in, enjoy, I would have had a much different experience. So be in the moment is something you must carry with you through your pregnancy, through your baby's first year, through everything. And it won't always be the way you expect or imagine, but being in the moment allows you to accept, embrace, and enjoy the actual moment. Assalamu alaikum. Thanks for listening.
A big thank you to Shanaz Moors, always very free and willing in her very, very busy schedule to provide us some parenting tips for this week. But now let's get into action with this wonderful maternity home called Birth on Fifth Home. That is a birth unit, a maternity home based out here in Johannesburg. But to tell us more about that, we'll be chatting to Sister Ruwaida Ishmael Muller, registered independent midwife, specialist midwife, registered nurse, as well as a nurse educator. She joins us online. Assalamu alaikum to you, Sister Ruwaida.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakallah khair for having me and showing you the birth unit and discussing it today.
Inshallah. It's been a roller coaster your side as well. As we know, it doesn't exactly come for the perfect time when you try and book a midwife or a gynae or a doctor when it comes to birthing. So we had a few bookings. I appreciate, alhamdulillah, that we finally were able to get this, alhamdulillah. Shukr. Birth on fifth, a maternity home. But before we get to birth on fifth, Sister Rueda, tell us a little bit about yourself and the work that you do.
So I am a registered nurse, did nursing as well as midwifery. And then I specialized in advanced midwifery, which is to look at complications now, to detect it, and then we refer. Obviously, with midwifery, we manage low-risk pregnancies, so it's always about mums and baby safety. We work hand in hand with our backup obstetricians. I've been doing midwifery for about, I think the oldest baby that I birthed is could be 26 years old. So Alhamdulillah, was blessed to be in this business for a long time. I've worked in private sectors and provincial sectors in Johannesburg, in the Cape Town area, and then back in Johannesburg. I always wanted to open up a home birth unit because I realized that there's such a need for mums that are not on medical aid, that would love this type of care. And a lot of the mums that we were able to assist are generally in private sector, and they have the finances to do that. And it was a dream to open up Birth on Fifth, a home birth unit that would represent a private sector and give the mums the TLC that they need. And that is exactly what we've done. I'm also a mom, so I can empathize with every mom out there. I have two sons. Born, had a natural birth with both of them. My eldest son at birth had neonatal jaundice, and he needed a transfusion because of that. And because of him, I suppose I went a lot in depth into neonatal jaundice as well. So specialize in that too. The second one was born in Cape Town, and Alhamdulillah, they big boys now. But knowing and understanding what a mom can go through in labor, it almost drives you to give the best care and to try and give all the moms a good experience out there.
So let's talk about Birth on Fifth home birth units. How long has it been around for? What sort of services does it offer, and your complement of staff?
So we opened up in May. The end of May was our opening at Birth on Fifth, so May 2022. Okay. We have two registered midwives. Both are, when we say advanced midwives, it's midwife specialists that did an advanced course training. The midwives are certified in basic life support and advanced training and neonatal advanced support as well. So we two registered nurses and midwives. It's myself and Sister Ayanda. We love our doulas because we believe that they provide the care that the moms need to have the pain-free labor and work on the natural methods of pain relief. So I have 4 doulas that are working, that complement the staff. We have 2 GPs that comes in and sees our mums and babies after birth, and we use them a lot for our general ailments during pregnancy as well. Then we have a physiotherapist that comes through and utilizes the rooms. We have a lactation consultant that comes in as well. We have a doctor doing magnetic resonance that was on your show previously as well. He also utilizes the rooms. And then we have a biokinetist that comes in and does all our massages because we want to give our moms the pampering. So we've included all that as well at Birth on Fifth.
So the facilities that that you offer, mashallah, it's quite vast, even to the point of offering them a massage therapist there. How many pregnant moms can you accommodate for birth at a time?
So we can accommodate 3 moms. We have 3 birthing rooms. The 2 rooms that we have are 2 that caters for births in and out of water. So those rooms have birth baths in it because a lot of moms want a water birth experience. And if they don't want a water birth experience, we use the water for pain relief as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have another room without a water bath in it. Those are generally quick in and out births. Mom that wants a very low cost effective birth, we utilize that room. So we have 3 all in all.
Mm. Let's understand the birthing rooms and the units, and at least before the birth actually happens. What services do you offer prenatal care when it comes to your array of staff that is available? Because, of course, it doesn't just start with the birth. There is the prenatal care that needs to happen. And what advice do you give to moms that are pregnant now, and how far along do you accept them?
I generally see my moms quite early in the pregnancy. So once they hit about 14 weeks of the pregnancy, I can start seeing them. We advise that the moms have their antenatal checkups with their backup gynecologist, or the moms at birth on fifth who are unable to afford a backup gynecologist in the private sector, they generally would also have a backup hospital at a government hospital or provincial hospital. So in the event of an emergency, we always have a backup in place. Our first priority is the mom's safety. So we always work with what if, and in the event of that, do we have a backup? So all moms must have a backup clinic or a backup gynecologist. I generally see my moms quite early, so we're able to refer them if need be for the necessary ultrasounds. As midwives, we don't do the in-depth ultrasound that they need, which is the first trimester screening at 12 weeks, and then the 20-week scan, which they look at the baby's heart and lungs and brain development, and that's done by the gynae or the sonographer. So I see the moms throughout, do the necessary blood tests and assessments, make sure that the pregnancy is progressing within the low risk range, because we don't do any high risk pregnancies. And moms generally ask, what is a high risk? If there's any medical illness that would need a hospital, or any pre-existing ailments that you have. So high blood pressure or diabetes, that is within the high risk, and that falls within the hospitals. So we don't do any high risk pregnancies at home, but at the birth on fifth. I see my moms every 4 weeks until they're 28 weeks. So they could see me from 12 weeks. And then from 28 weeks to 37 weeks, I see them generally every 2 to 3 weeks. And then towards the end of the pregnancy, I see them weekly. And that is to ensure that their blood tests are normal. They're taking their necessary vitamins. They are having done the right exercises. So we do a lot of birth preparation as well. And then when they're in labor, they have all the contact numbers and our cell phone numbers as well. Unlike other care providers, we give the clients our cell phone numbers, so they contact us directly and we meet them when they are in labor.
We're chatting to Sister Ruwaida from Birth on Fifth Home Birth Units and profiling this beautiful complex and facility. We still need to check out and find out where they are exactly and what moms can expect at the first visit, and talking about their birthing rooms and so much more, and some advice she's got as well. I'd love to hear more about the water birth experience, but more just after the short break. Stay with us. Welcome back. Assalamu alaikum. A very good day to you. And also note that these shows of Parenting Today, all of our first season shows are available on YouTube. You can catch them on Hilaal.tv, our YouTube channel. We're on various social media platforms as well, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and also our website. If you have family and friends listening, or there is some details that you'd like them to watch right now, they can catch us via our live stream on our website, which is www.hilaal.tv. I'm Kawa Solomon. Stay with me as we profile Birth on Fifth Home Birth Unit with Sister Ruwaida, who is online. She's joining us to talk more about this new established home birth unit that is there available for low-risk pregnancy moms and couples, and has a variety of services as well. Sister Ruwaida, are you still with us online? Great stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's talk about the low-risk pregnancies. You've mentioned what high-risk pregnancies as well. Is there any other more details you'd like to add on to that and the sort of profile of a low-risk pregnancy?
So, and a lot of moms ask if they low risk or high risk. They come in for screening to assess that. Low risk or is pregnancies that won't need any medical treatment with an obstetrician, so they're not on any high blood pressure medication or diabetic medication, because those, if the mom has any pre-existing illness, it can affect the pregnancy as well and the outcome of birth. And that should be done in a place where there's theatre on standby, which a home birth unit doesn't have. Even though we have all the medication at hand or all the intravenous therapy for a low risk mom that doesn't need these medication, we generally keep things on standby. So what a low risk is moms that don't have any pre-existing ailments, or they're not on any chronic medication. They don't have a low placenta, for example. Their babies are in the correct position. There's no indication that they would need a cesarean section in their pregnancy, and those are regarded as low risk. But I've also, to make it easier for a lot of moms, we've added the low risk criteria on our website.
Okay.
So it's www.birthonfifth.co.za. There's a criteria that explains what the low risk or high risk criteria is, and moms always go through that to ensure that they are eligible for a birth on fifth birth, and then contact us based on that.
Multiple pregnancies would be high risk?
Not at a home birth unit.
Okay.
So I still do multiple pregnancy. For some reason, 2022 was filled with a lot of twin moms.
Okay.
And those moms were birthed at active birth units and at hospitals under my care with a backup obstetrician.
Okay, so you still actually use your services at various hospitals, and you're based out at Birth on Fifth?
Correct.
Okay.
That's correct.
Sister Ruwaida, if we can talk about the pain relief facility that is available at the home birth units, as well as, before we touch on that, let's just distinguish the difference between visiting a home birth unit or a maternity home for your prenatal care compared to visiting your gynae or obstetrician.
So on the first consultation, what we do is we address the mom's concerns. A lot of the moms have anxiety related to the pregnancy, that they need some answers to the questions. We work out, so it's not only the medical care that we give, but also a lot of emotional support. And that, I think, is a bit different in terms of the gynae care. The gynae is specialist in their field, so they're going to look at everything medically and go into in-depth ultrasound checks, explaining in-depth blood tests, which we don't do, and that's why we refer to the obstetrician. So with us on our first consultations, our moms come in and we ensure that their health is progressing within the normal limits. So that's looking at mom's blood pressure, looking at the mom's urine test, because from a urine test, we can see if their sugar levels are high. We can even see if they're hungry. So our fasting moms, we do know when they're fasting because it shows in the urine test as well. If their blood pressures are high, we're able to assess the urine to see if they're spilling out protein, to assess if their kidneys are functioning well. So there's a lot of things that can be detected from a urine test as well. Then we look at the weight. So we ensure that the BMI is falling within the normal limits. We then look at the mom's overall health to see if she is anemic or not, to see what type of supplementation she would need in order for her to, to sustain the pregnancy, and to guide them in that, because a lot of the supplements are also not halal or not approved. So we need to ensure that they are taking the correct medication. Then we look at the pregnancy. So some midwives will do midwifery scans, and that's not to detect abnormalities, but to determine the position, to look and see if there's any concerning facts in the pregnancy and know that it would need to be referred. So we look at the baby, listen to the baby's heart rate, ensure that the baby's growth and development is falling within the normal limits. And then once we're done with the physical check, we address the emotional concerns. So we see that the mom is eating healthy. If there's any factors that's preventing them from eating healthy, or maybe they're unable to get the correct nutrition, we address that. We also try and guide them into what to eat to help them with their iron level stores. Then we look at exercises. So some moms feel that, there's a lot of myths out there. Don't stretch your arms, don't hang clothing.
Okay.
We address those myths. So we go through a lot of that. And then birth preparation and birth planning. So we want the moms to tell us what they want in birth so that we're able to respect them and respect their preferences and their needs. Because ultimately, it's not my birth, it is their birth, and they're going to remember it for the rest of their lives. So we want to have their birth preferences. I never ever say it's a birth plan, because the only planner is Allah. So it's birth preferences, and we work with what they prefer. And it is the duty of the doulas and the midwives on site just to ensure that their preferences are met and they are safe choosing those preferences.
I'm so glad you put it that way. What a better way. Because if I look at my last baby, the last one and the second last one as well, I had a birth plan, because they ask, what the midwife asks you, or the gynae asks you, what is your birth plan? What is your expectations? And when you say preference, that's exactly what it is, what you would ideally like. It doesn't always happen that way. So I want to also comment on the difference of visiting a doula, a midwife compared to the gynae, because I've had that experience as well. And the way you're explaining it, sounds exactly that. When you're at a gynae, you are in and out 15, 20 minutes, not even. But with a midwife, it's such a hands-on, longer emotional experience. It's just so much more depth to it. Places like the UK, I think, to my knowledge, they just actually have midwives, consulting with the moms, and the specialists, the obstetrician, are usually called in, if there's a need. But I love the fact, and maybe you can expound on that, the reason why one would choose going to a midwife compared to a gynae.
I think it has to do a lot more with the interpersonal connection that you have with your midwife. For one, our clients and our moms out there think of random things that keep them up all night. So they do contact us and let us know their concerns, and we're able to guide them almost immediately. Like, I won't say immediately, because if you're busy with the birth, we generally don't answer, but they do get response on a daily basis. So they have that connection with this person that's going to be with them, and is more the personal connection that you have with the difference between a gynae and an obstetrician, where you only see at consultations. And with midwives, you have a connection with them throughout. So there's moms that contact us with concerns that they have at home, and we're able to guide them on chats or WhatsApp chats. The pregnancy itself is a journey for moms, and with the midwife, it's throughout the pregnancy into the birth, because we're in the mom's space, and then as well as after birth. So a lot of the moms send pictures of their babies when they turn 1 or 2 or 3 or up to 11 or 12 years old. So we always in their space. The other thing with the huge difference between a midwife and a gynae is the gynae, when you're under the care of a gynecologist or obstetrician, you generally go into the maternity or labor ward when you're having contractions. And a midwife will then assess you and contact the gynae and keep the gynae updated on your progress of labor.
Okay.
So the person that makes contact with you first is the hospital midwife. And then the gynae would come in and assess you when you're about 6 centimeters or in active labor, then step out again. And then you have maybe a change of shift or a night staff, and then another midwife takes over.
Okay.
And then the gynae is contacted when you're ready for birth, and then births you, and then leaves. And then the midwife on that shift takes over and assists you with breastfeeding and transfers you over to the postnatal ward. The huge difference with midwifery is we come in and we're with you from the start of your labor. So when the mums come into the birth unit in active labor, we generally there waiting, unless the mum is not in labor. And then we progress the mum throughout. So that means we with you each step of the way, whether you're 3 centimeters or 5 centimeters, and we birth the baby. So we're the ones that are assisting with the birth itself. And we know your preferences, so we're able to respect that and make sure that you have what you've requested. And then after birth, we don't just leave you. So the midwife is with you to help you get up and go and shower, and to ensure that you're feeling okay, and then to assist you with breastfeeding as well. And to make sure that you've eaten after birth as well. And that's what the doula does as well. So the doula also might even see you before the midwife. So labor with you in early labor. And then after birth, the doula just doesn't leave soon after birth. So they're there to ensure that the mom has breastfed. The baby sugar levels are okay. Do they need any support? Because it's also an emotional journey as well.
Yeah.
They
Lots
eat.
of changes.
Are they feeling okay? Yes, and then we leave. So it's a process.
A personalized doula with you throughout the pregnancy, throughout the birth experience, the actual birth and post birth as well. So much more, than what is needed. And I know back in the day, when it happened at home, there would be so many people like that as well, like the midwife and the doula around. So in the more modernized, environment, I'm so glad to see that still happening. So shukran. Sister Ruwaida, we'll chat more just after this short break. Stay with us. We still need to talk about the water birth, the pain relief that the maternity home does offer, birth on 5th, more just after this. Stay with us. Assalamu alaikum and welcome back. I'm Khawa Solomon. We are profiling birth on 5th maternity home, and to talk more about this, we have online a birth on 5th maternity home registered midwife, Sister Ruwaida, and we're chatting about the whole birth experience, the difference between the midwife and the obstetrician and the roles they play, as well as the doula, the involvement of the doula. I must say, Sister Ruwaida, my second last birth, I had an experience of the doula because my husband at the time was panicking with some outside influence that was happening that he needed to take care of. And it was absolutely amazing to feel that that comfort, that experience of not just the midwife, but that doula that is literally hands-on with you. So alhamdulillah, if you can and you have that ability, get a doula. Sister Ruwaida, the experience of the birth unit, just let's take a look at that, the actual rooms that you have available, how well is it equipped, and what pain facilities do you offer, pain relief facilities?
So one of the biggest pain relief that we offer is a doula, because we believe that everything that passes through to the baby passes from the mom to the baby, and the babies do have the adverse effects of any drugs that's given. So we use water as our pain relief. We use a lot of mobilizing. We use bean bags, hot and cold compresses. The doula does a lot of massages and reflexology, mobilizing to help with the mom's pain relief. So everything that we use is aimed at giving the mom a more natural experience so that the babies don't have any adverse effects of the drugs that's used. If there is any need for a drug, we prefer that they don't have it at the birth unit but are referred out. We do, however, give pethidine, which is a morphine-based injection. I don't like giving it at the home birth unit, but we are registered to provide that as well. So we try our best to ensure that the moms have a natural or non-medicated pain relief. And that also gives them the ability to push better and be cognizant and be aware and be there in the moment when they're having their babies.
Let's talk about the gas. That was my favorite friend through all my births. Is that offered, and how does it affect the baby?
So gas is lovely. I use it a lot in the active birth
It's
unit.
very lovely.
But
especially at
so
that
we call it
time.
laughing gas.
Is it laughing gas?
It is laughing
Oh,
gas.
it's laughing. The
It
ones
doesn't
at the
make you
tip.
laugh in labor.
No, it doesn't. It just creates this, I think, an aura of comfort and ease, and just like numbs everything, kind of. But so dentists use this gas as well.
We're not allowed to use it at a home birth unit because it is medicated gas.
Right.
But we use it a lot in active birth units. So the gas is called Entonox. It's a pre-mixed opiate gas, which is it's laughing gas and used for pain relief. It's one of the things that goes into the body, and they say very minimally passes through the placenta, or if not, nothing. So that's one of the things that you inhale it and it's in your system, but 5 minutes from where you stop inhaling it, it's out of your system. So it's very fast released and out of your system as well. So it doesn't really affect babies like the pethidine or the other drugs that's offered.
Can you say that again, Ruwaida? It doesn't affect?
So it doesn't affect babies like the opioids or the injectable drugs. The only thing is, in South Africa, it's not registered to be administered at home.
Okay. All right. That was my best friend, if I must add. And it's true. It comes and it goes again. There was at one stage during one of my pregnancy where they actually said to me, no, you need to stop now. Give me the gas. What would be that reason? Because they said, listen, I need you to be here. Baby's about to come. Just explain that process.
So generally it helps phenomenally with pain relief. So you inhale it and it's in your system, and as soon as you exhale it, it's out of your system. But when it's time for you to push your baby out and you inhale it, then you're not really doing any pushing. You're doing more of the breathing in and out of the gas. So at that time, we need you to stop with the gas, stop with your baby friend, and then start exerting pusher into pushing the baby out. And we generally only stop it when it's time for you to meet your baby.
Okay. We're chatting to Sister Ruwaida Ismail Muller, independent midwife specialist, practicing for 26 years, as we profile birth on Fifth Maternity Home. So, Sister Ruwaida, let's look at the actual birthing unit that moms do use when they give birth. What are the durations that they're allowed to stay, and what other facilities like food and meals are accommodated?
So we have 3 packages ranging from 6 hours to 12 hours after birth. They come in when they're in labor. We don't include that in the postnatal stay because we never know how long a labor is going to be. The packages it all depends on which package they choose. Most of the 2 packages do have doulas. A lot of moms say, but I don't need a doula and I'd like the last package. But nobody knows the advantage that they can get from the doula. So we've included it in the last 2 packages. So the 6 hour stay, they generally get their meals before they leave. The other 2 packages, they are here longer, especially the Royal Queen package, which we call. Those moms are here. They get their 3 meals included. We supply their water and their drinks. They have the option of birthing in or out of the water. We have all family rooms. It's all modern rooms. They have en suites in the room, so they have their privacies. We want the dads to stay with the moms. So they all double beds or queen beds to ensure that we have the partner here because they are a part of the family unit. So we want the dads to be here.
Support.
So generally the dads would stay over with the moms. They all have cribs in the room. We do give them little gift packs when they leave.
Nice.
We ensure that they hydrated throughout. It also depends So some days we bring icicles in and we'll give mums lollipops when they're in the bath, so they have something icicle to suck on. We try and use a lot of essences and make the room smell nice. So dim lights, we've ensured that all the rooms have dim lights because we know that dim lighting increases their oxytocin levels and they progress faster. And we know that Maryam alayhi salam she pulled on the date tree leaves when she gave birth. And outside we have almost something that the moms can pull onto when they need it be. So we were unable to read inside, but it is out where they can pull onto that and help them to descend their baby. We have a lot of mobilizing space. We discuss a lot, with our Muslim moms. Adhan, the dads, first-time dads don't know. The adhan needs to be given. The iqamah needs to be given. Ensure that you have your tahniq. Make sure that you take your placenta home. So we're able to assist them as well with all of that. And to make sure that the sunnat is met and they're able to read and they're able to make their zikr and their du'as in labor, because that is the most important thing, that you can make your du'as, that your babies are pious and steadfast in deen. And that is one of the things that we are huge on, is to ensure that the mums don't forget their zikr and du'as and never forget Allah during their laboring process.
Wow, such a beautiful ethos, a maternity home with the Islamic ethos. I'm getting cold shivers because I'm thinking, oh, I have to have another baby. Unfortunately, that process has stopped. So that I've never heard of a maternity home or any birthing unit being able to offer that tree and practice the sunnah of the only woman that is mentioned in the Holy Quran. MashaAllah, we can actually take so much lessons from Sayyidina Maryam alayhi salam. So beautiful. We talk more. This conversation is so beautiful. I want to talk more on the whole Islamic ethos as well, and how Muslim moms who want to decide to give birth at birth on fifth, how they can have their birth preferences planned, so-called with an Islamic ethos, and how it can be accommodated. Your doulas as well, how they can support them through that Islamic plan, their preference and ethos. But we'll talk more with Sister Duwaida after this. Stay with us, don't go anywhere. A birth on fifth with Islamic ethos, mashallah. Back in a moment. Welcome back. Assalamu alaikum. A very good day to you. This is Parenting Today. I'm Hawa Solomon. Stay with me for the last few minutes as we cover birth on fifth maternity home with Sister Registered Midwife Specialist, Sister Duwaida Ishmael. She chats to us about the facilities they've had. And remember, if you've missed any of that information, we'll be uploading the show on YouTube tomorrow, inshallah. So welcome back, Sister Duwaida. I feel like there's so much more that we can chat about, but we're going to try and squeeze as much as we can in the last few minutes. It ended in such a beautiful note, previous segment, on how you described such a unique experience that the mothers can have with regards to practicing that hanging on the tree that Sayyidina Maryam did, alayhi salam. And not many of us think of it, and using Allah as a pain relief as well, dhikr and Quran. So I just want to delve onto that. If you can just enlighten me about the doula, the presence of the doula and the experience, she will be giving you through Islamic ethos. You've mentioned the recitation, the Quran, with your birth preference. Is that, what specifically and what, in detail is allowed that you could say, and any request, above all, allowed, and can one chat about it when it comes to having a real experience as a Muslim woman giving birth?
So we deal with a lot of people from all different walks of life, and not everyone is Islamically inclined. And some people will have music playlists, that don't. And that's where I took it from there. I always say, let's put a playlist together with an Islamic sentiments. So put your zikr together that you would use for your diversion. Put in your Surah Yasin and put in your Surah Maryam, and play that over and over again when in labor. So the more you play it, the more you focus on the words, and you will be reading while you are giving birth. And I think that is one of the most important things that, Alhamdulillah, I'm so blessed to be in a space, because without doubt, while the mom is in labor, that's the time that we all make the most dua, because we know that we're dealing with life, and life is only in but Allah's hands, and we are only the facilitators of this birth that is coming into this world. So there is at no point in time that we're not making dua for this baby. I always tell the moms, make dua for your baby, that Allah Pak guides them, keeps them steadfast in deen and hidayat, makes them the hafid and hafida, because it is only with the mom's duas that the babies out there are progressing and thriving. And it is only with duas that we let our children out into this world. And that's one of the most important things. The other thing we do is, the general is, when our babies are born, we do delayed cord clamping, because the cord supplies the baby with the blood circulation. We do a lot of skin-to-skin contact with moms and babies. And then the mom would have her tahniq ready. And before they start breastfeeding, they would give the tahniq. And it's always so beautiful. Scientifically, they say, let the baby have a bit of sugar in. And I mean, the tahniq is existing for Quranic days, where the baby was given that date or something sweet. And that we know now scientifically it improves the brain. And in hospitals, they do sugar tests. And now we know that giving the tahniq and giving the breast will then improve the sugar levels. So isn't it beautiful that we can implement our Islamic culture and our Islam into scientific facts today?
And start
practice.
the human life, the birth of that fitra of that child with, true Islamic ethos. You think, how can I introduce, my Islam, my religion, my ideals, my foundation into a birth? And alhamdulillah, mashallah, birth on fifth, just managed to be able to do that. Because you have your hubby there and he's also panicking. And I just want to reiterate, when you mentioned all those things, going through birth, that's not things that you're going to think of first. Yes, you're going to ask Allah to make you think of it, to want to recite your Yasin or your Kalima or your Shahada, or your Surah Maryam or whatever. But even your hubby is sitting there and he's also panicking. They are, of course, trying to connect with the Quran, with Allah rather. But when you have the doula, she's a little bit calmer. The midwife also, they're a little bit calmer. They can actually just nudge you to say, recite or read or whatever. Because through many birth experiences that I've had, I can definitely vouch for that's not the first thing, the Quran or the recitation coming through you, because you're in so much pain, ya Allah. So to help the doula, to help to focus that time, mom, dad, and everybody else in that room, alhamdulillah. Just if we could move on quickly to any special request, dietary requirements, a special request with regards to family, what facilities you said there was the family room, does that allow? Because I know at the hospitals, children are still not allowed, the siblings rather, are still not allowed in the maternity rooms at hospitals. What about... No problem. What about the maternity home, birth on fifth? Does it allow access to the siblings to come and visit mommy if they're going to be staying for a little bit longer, or granny or grandpa?
So we've needed to put in a visiting protocol, because we thought we're family centric and we can allow the parents to come in and we can give that to the moms. And then we've noticed an overflow and an over-influx. As soon as the moms give birth, people are rushing in, which then affects the care that we're able to give the mom. So people are just giving birth and they don't even have time to clean up and everyone is in the room. So we've needed to put in a visiting protocol. We allow the visitors to come in 2 hours after the mom has at least had her something to eat. She has then breastfed. She is able to, baby and her are tidy and clean and sorted out. And that is, one of the things that's actually worked quite well. We do allow families to come in, and we do allow our moms to have their support, because we know that it takes a village to raise a child, and we don't want to
Absolutely.
exclude the extended family in as well.
Brilliant, brilliant. Okay, postnatal visits. Talk to us about that.
So we do a lot of postnatal care. In terms of, we have an open door policy, so much so that I don't charge my moms for any postnatal care 2 weeks
Sure.
within actually the 6-week
Period.
postnatal visits. We want to make sure that it's not a cost factor, so our moms can come in anytime to do weight checks on their babies. So we weigh the babies for them.
Okay.
We also know that neonatal jaundice kicks in 3 days after they give birth. So we want to make sure that the babies are not showing any signs of neonatal jaundice. And if need be, babies don't have to be admitted for jaundice. They are generally taken in, they can have the phototherapy done in the comfort of their own home. A lot of first-time moms also struggle with breastfeeding. And even if you've had many babies before, breastfeeding can still be a challenge. So we want to ensure that milk's flowing in, that you have lactation support and lactation assistance. So, moms are comfortable. We also know that postnatal depression is real, and there's a huge change in the mom's hormones. So we want to ensure that the family is still together, the couple are still happy, the mom's mental well-being is still good. And if not, we're able to refer, we're able to assist based on what their needs are.
Okay, so we know COVID hit us quite bad 2 years ago, and the pandemic is not necessarily as bad as a pandemic now. Talk to us about any COVID information or protocols that that you guys are following, or patients or moms that are listening right now, or dads that need to know with regards to COVID and the birth on 5th.
So at the moment, we still have hand sanitizers all over. We currently out of the mask phase, but if anyone is comfortable wearing a mask, we allow them. Please use that. We ensure that each room is sterilized after birth, be it even if they were a short stay or a long-term stay. So we ensure that that is still kept and maintained. We don't really like overcrowding of our babies, so we make sure that there's hand sanitizing and hand washing and not too many people breathing over the baby, because we do know that besides also COVID, there was H1N1 that was back. There's also bronchopneumonia, and our little ones' immune system is still not fully developed. So our main thing is to ensure that their well-being and they kept safe as well.
Before we wrap up, Sister Ruwaida, just quickly, I want to touch on home birth, which I almost forgot about. Anything we need to know for moms who are thinking of having a home birth, and what it would that experience be like?
So for
the water birth,
at birth on 5th, I tried not to include first-time moms, because when they hit labor, they almost in shock and they don't know what to expect and they start panicking. So at birth on 5th, I do a lot of moms from their second pregnancy onwards, because they're usually able to understand and relate to labor. It's a very personal experience. You have your own space. You're able to walk around and you're able to get that love and care that you need. I want moms to realize that they should never ever doubt their body and go with what is best for them. Never let anyone dictate. They know what each mom knows what they want to do. So go with what you want. It's your birth. And find a provider that's able to respect that birth, and find a provider that's able to respect your birth preferences. So it's comfortable. Labor is labor. I can't sugarcoat it, but inshallah, it's our duty to give you the best experience for your arrival of your little one.
Sister Ruwaida, please just give us some of your social media information, contact details, or how people and moms, parents, couples can arrange a tour or visit to Birth on 5th.
So we have a website, which is www.birthon5th.co.za. we on Instagram, which is Birth on Fifth. We have a Facebook page, Birth on Fifth, where I've added a virtual tour for you, so you can log on to that as well. When we have moms in labor, it's very difficult to give you a tour because we want to ensure that their privacy is met and they're respected in their labor. Mm-hmm. So we'd like it if moms make appointments to come and see the space. Sure. But if not, then send us a message, and we can always send you the link to go and have a look at and have a virtual tour as well of Birth on Fifth.
Sister Rueda Ishmael Muller, independent midwife, a specialist, a registered nurse and nurse educator at Birth on Fifth Maternity Home. It's a pleasure chatting to you. Inshallah, hope to see you soon. And I can't wait to actually see the facility.
Inshallah, hope to see you soon.
Assalamu alaikum. There we have it. Please do contact them on their various social pages and their website. And remember, if you've missed any of the shows, please do catch us on YouTube uploads as well as www.hilaal.tv. Shukran so much for joining us this week. Please stay tuned for next week's show as we chat to adolescent and child psychiatrist Dr. Zureida Khan Ali. And we follow a series of shows with her on the human development of a child. Don't go anywhere. Stay with us on Hilaal TV. From myself, Hawa Solomon. Wassalamu alaikum and goodbye for now.